Before Disney did it, there was no multiverse thing. So it was like, oh, I have this idea for a multiverse. That'd be so cool. And then Disney does it. And it's like, all right, I'm bored with this. I want to go back to episodic or serial content that is like contained in its own universe that doesn't stem off. Yes. Or I have to watch 30 different TV shows to understand it. Yeah. Because I just don't have the time.
No, I agree. That's why I'm pretty into the Star Wars stuff, because it's really nice. It's like all of these things fit in a timeline. Like you said, they all stay, all the characters are fluid throughout the whole thing. It's like it all stays within the same universe. There's like, there's a succession to the events and why they happen and why these people are involved. And, you know, and that's the thing too, is like with Obi-Wan, it's like, it's cool that they're filling in the blanks. I think that's cool. But I mean, it's like, it's familiar. It's very familiar. You know, as soon as you're like, oh yeah, no, that makes sense. Because I mean, essentially, you know, what do you think he would have done in that time between what happened with Anakin and then, you know, essentially like being with Luke and what was that, New Hope or whatever it was, you know, it's like, it makes sense. He would have just watched over these children for that entire time.
I think they're going to try to remake the original Star Wars movies.
Remaster? Like, or
no, remake.
But if they're going to remake anything, they should be remaking the prequels.
Well, I know, right? But look, they already have perfect Alec Guinness replacement, Ewan McGregor. You just wait another like 5 years. He'll, you know, maybe put a little bit more makeup on him. He can be the old wise guy 10 years later.
You got Christian Haydenson not doing anything else for a while.
You got Vader. You don't really care about how Luke looks anymore because like Mark Hamill.
We have a million deep fake models that we can just run.
Him with some guy. We know that the sequels are like forbidden dumpster fires. You don't want to touch them. What other movies are going to make? You're going to remake the ones that already worked.
Yeah, they got to cash in on those cows before they lose their copyright like they are with Mickey Mouse.
Yeah. I mean,
it was just funny. You know, I was having this discussion with my wife because we were talking about the timeline. Yeah. And she said she was confused. And I was like, I don't know how the heck you could be confused, but let's have this conversation. And she was like, I was explaining to her like the original Star Wars came out. You know, the first 3 movies came out first, right? And then the prequels, which is, there's a reason why they're called prequels, because they were made after the fact, but they explain storyline before the fact. Yes. And she was like, but those movies were made beforehand. I was like, no, they weren't. They were made in like the early 2000s.
They renumbered the first movies to be 4, 5, 6, even though they were the 1, 2, 3 that first came out.
How did he know that the first movie he'd ever make is number 4?
Okay, but hold on a second. You're not following me though.
Yeah.
She said with the prequels, she said those were made first, right?
Right.
And I'm like, no. And she goes, but they look like they were.
What?
She was like, the original Star Wars looked better than the prequels.
Oh, that's, well.
And I was like, fair. And she said,
practical
why?
Effects.
Thank you. I was like, because originals were practical.
Right.
And then, the prequels were, they just went nuts with
the trash CGI.
Yes. Yeah. They're like, guess what? Our computers have Intel Pentiums now. Now we can use CGI. And you're like, no, Jar Jar, no.
Get off the screen.
No.
No. Yeah. It's so.
And you're like,
Misa wrong? Here for a long time.
Look, what's wrong with Yoda? Why does he look like he's Jello?